Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we are playing some more Black Sack. I've been thinking about some tech for the deck, things to try to make it work better in the current meta, and I had this crazy idea, which was to add land destruction to the deck. Some Ponza here with Choking Sands and Icequake. Let me pop this open. I'm not usually a big fan of Dark Ritual in this kind of a deck, in Black Sack, but I thought it would be an interesting experiment to try taking the Dark Ritual package and then also adding some other things to ramp into. One of my biggest problems with Dark Ritual is that you often don't have things to ramp into after like turn 1 or 2. But if we can get land destruction going right away, that can be really good, and halting our opponent's development at like turn 2 or 3 or something like that could be kind of an interesting way for us to continue taking advantage of the fact that we're really aggressive and that they then can't get enough lands on the field. We have 6 land destruction spells in our main deck here, but then we actually have a bit of a pivot in the sideboard, which is that once they've realized we're going to try to blow up their lands, and they're going to try to adjust mulligan to make sure they have enough lands and all that stuff, we're going to take these all out and put in a bunch of Thorns of the Black Rose and Snuff Outs to keep the Monarch, to keep us drawing cards, and we're going to use Dark Rituals to get to the Thorn of the Black Rose. Monarch is something I've seen in some Black Sack lists as a sideboard, like one of sometimes. Generally don't think it's the best idea, but again, we're trying out some weird stuff here. And the main other change I've made to the deck is that we're trying Bone Pickers. I do think if you're going to go with a Dark Ritual build, Bone Picker is one of the best cards to take advantage of that, because it doesn't need to snowball. It just starts as a pretty good, efficient flyer and attacker. And so if you're able to, Dark Ritual into a Carrion Feeder, sack itself, or sack something else you already have on board, a couple Bone Pickers, that could be a really good way to get a very fast start. And then if we start blowing up their lands, what are they going to do against our Bone Pickers? So otherwise, pretty standard. We've totally taken out the Bloodthorn Vampires in this list, as well as the Rite of Consumptions, because we're going with the Bone Picker list, and we needed room for all of these land destruction spells. But of course, we still have Mortician Beetles, Carrion Feeders, Sage, Shambler, Link Breaker, Ghasts, some Village Rites, Unearth, and Stamina, where we're down to 16 swamps with 3 Dark Rituals. And then in the sideboard, we have 2 Rotten Reunions, 2 Tragic Slip, Vampiric Link, a Cursed Marauder, those Snuff Outs, Thorn of the Black Rose, and another Spinning Darkness. So let's take this for a league and see how this tech works out.
Thanks to Card Market for sponsoring this video.
Thought this was old school mono black land destruction. Have fun, brother. Yeah, not quite. Kind of similar with just a bunch of aggro elements, but this hand is not keepable. If we had a Dark Ritual, maybe we'd go for it with the Choking Sands. We also have no way to get a Bone Picker out, so we're basically just playing 2 Shamblers and then like turn 3 land destruction on the draw. Doesn't seem very good. This one's decent. We have the Carrion Feeder, the Beetle. If we get any fodder, we have Unearth for it. And then we will have to get rid of a Swamp here, but maybe we can Choking Sands on turn 3. And they start with a Ponder. And we get a Dark Ritual. So I probably just want to blow up their land, right? Then next turn I can play Carrion Feeder, Beetle. Do it. I mean, this is what we're here to do. So turn 1, land destroyed. Perfect. This means that they can't fully counterspell either of these. Also, if they're just mono blue terror, probably going to be an okay matchup for us in general. We do need to get some fodder for these to actually get bigger. Their Delver does flip on a Ponder, and they pass. It's a Ponza player now. That was a sick play. Yeah, I guess you're the expert. I mean, I swing. I can play a Beetle. If they counter it, I can unearth it, but we really need to hit some fodder. I don't really want to cast nothing, although casting nothing into their counterspell, I guess, is not the worst idea. Yeah, I think we'll just pass. They start with another Ponder. See, ideally, after we blow up their land turn 1, we have more of a follow-up. This was a good turn 2, but then nothing after that's not doing us wonders. I mean, we can go for an Icequake, but they probably counter it, and we're just giving them more spells in their graveyard to get closer to a Terror, which we can't really deal with right now, so I think we just pass. I should probably cycle this on Earth, to be honest. I really wanted it for fodder, sacrifice, bring it back, but if we don't find that, we're just going to be in some trouble. Swing. Let's go for a cycle. There's the Link Breaker and a Stamina. I'm going to play the Beetle first because this is actually what I want to get countered, which they probably know, and so they're going to go for the Link Breaker. Or they're just going to let it go. That's okay too. Swing. We're going to go for a Stamina on the Link Breaker. They got something for that. Go for a Brainstorm. Counterspell it. Probably wise. We are still going to just sack this twice to make our guys big enough to actually do some damage finally. Hit for 6. Pass the turn. There's a Ponder yet again. And another Delver, Serpent. Swing just for 3. Fair enough. We just get Nice Quake. Who put these cards in our deck? So I can't really attack. I'm pretty much dead to these guys if this transforms. Land destruction doesn't do us much good. I guess we'll pass. Maybe we can survive. That one flips, so they can just attack us for lethal. Unfortunate. All right, so we get our removal. I do think this is a matchup where Thorn is probably better. I mean, if they get a Delver early, maybe not, but otherwise it's good. Also Marauder, Tragic Slip. I don't have to go for Thorn. To be honest, this is a matchup where we don't really need interesting new tech, but we have it, so we might as well give it a try. Let's do some Tragic Slips as well. Take out maybe our card draw for this one. See how this goes. Do you know the old school land destruction I was referring to? Yeah, I mean, I think so. I've seen, like, my buddy has a mono black land destruction that's Dark Rituals, Peat Bogs, all 12 of the mono black 3-drop land destruction spells you can play, and then Sign in Blood, something as a win con. Is that generally what you're referring to? Unless there's something else. We'll start with a feeder. Dark Ritual. Well, I was gonna do the Shambling Ghast, and I could sack that on turn 2 here to make a treasure for the Thorn next turn. But assuming they don't have a Force Spike or a Dispel, or Spell Pierce, I can just Dark Ritual into Thorn right now. So we're going to give that a try. So you're saying what Black Stack really needs is them to unban Sinkhole. It might work. It's a possibility. I don't think Sinkhole would be good for the format, but I could see it helping Black Sack. Like, it's just a powerful enough card that you don't actually have to be Ponza at that point, right? You just play mono black and you can Sinkhole people. All right, turn 2 Monarch. Turn 1 land destruction last time. So we're doing the things already, which is cool. Drawing another Marauder is pretty good too. Delver and a Ponder. I can actually kill the Delver with the Shambling Ghast, so we can preserve the Marauders for the bigger guys. Ponder to set this up, but Delver is not going to be around, so it doesn't matter. Tragic Slip as well. Here's a Ghast. Pick this guy off. Swing for 3. And draw for Monarch. Shambler is good. Do nothing. I mean, we're winning that. If they just do nothing. I could cast a Shambler or a Sage or something, but we're just giving them the ability to counterspell, and we're currently dealing them damage and attacking and drawing 2 cards with the Monarch, so I really don't think we need to do anything. Snuff out. We also just have so much removal. Cycle a Lorien, cycle another Lorien, and cycle a 3rd Lorien. Well, that's going to put 5 spells in their yard. Not even going for a creature, though. Okay, can live with that. Bone Picker, swing. Lorien is so revealed right now. It's never been more revealed. If I don't cast something, I'm going to have to discard. I guess it's probably fine too then. Shambler. I probably should have done it pre-combat then, because like Shambler into Sage, they could counter both if they have them. I guess I could sack Thorn actually to get Bone Picker big, cheap enough to play. Thorn is a lot smaller, less damage, and we have the removal that I don't really need to worry about the Death Toucher or anything. Also, Bone Picker's a Death Toucher if I really needed. Murmuring Mystic, okay. Marauder just eats right through that. I could go for a Snuff Out or Tragic Slip, but they could have a Dispel, so I'd rather do the Marauder that they almost assuredly can't counter. Mental Note, sack here, swing for 6. We'll play another Bone Picker. I could even Snuff Out the Bird if I really wanted, but yeah, they're gonna go for a chump. Oops. I had an end of combat step, stop, and so I removed it and forgot that it would automatically move us on, so I accidentally didn't play the Bone Picker. We're going to win this game just fine, I think. Not too big of a deal. They have a Lorien revealed. Well, that's the whole play set. I think we got him. Shambler, that will be lethal. All right, turn 2 Thorn was pretty sick there. Let's just send it back. So that Lorien was also a draw 3 all along. Oh my gosh, it was too good. It was too many things. Classic blue gamer would rather lose the game than not draw a bunch of cards. True. See, this is why I'm not a big Dark Ritual fan. Like, I have a bunch of stuff, but I can't actually, like, Bone Picker immediately. So I don't think this is a keepable hand. If I had a Carrion Feeder or something, for sure. And now, if this was a land, this is a decent keepable hand. But down to 5. Okay, not a bad hand for 5. Shambler plus Carrion Feeder, Stamina. But on the draw, they could have a counter spell when we go for the Stamina, so it could be tough. Start with Shambler. They sometimes bring in Gut Shot, which could kill the Carrion Feeder, and we obviously don't want that. But also the Shambler, if they do tap out or whatever, I Stamina this, I actually get in more damage this way. But they're definitely gonna have a counter spell. So I kind of think I'm casting nothing, because they could counter the Stamina, or they could just leave the Stamina and then counter the Carrion Feeder, and then I've wasted both, and I can't really afford any of that, so let's just pass here. Cycle a Lorien, their favorite thing to do. Delver flips on a Spell Pierce. Swing for 3. Cursed Marauder. I mean, I would love to Stamina this and then Marauder, kill them both, but chances they have a counter spell are very high. If they counter the Marauder, I could just play it. If they counter that, then I get the Carrion Feeder through. I think that's worth it, unless they have a Force Spike, but we see Spell Pierce, so probably not. Swing for 1, cycle another Lorien, they go for a Brainstorm. Swing, another Feeder. So I have to Stamina first, because otherwise they could Spell Pierce it. If they have to use an actual counter spell on this, then I can maybe resolve a Bone Picker. Dispel. Interesting they opted to draw that Spell Pierce rather than shuffle it away with that Lorien. Yeah, that is interesting. I don't know. Well, we hit for 2. I kind of want Bone Picker down, but I feel like the chances... Well, let's go for a Carrion Feeder, and if they counter this, I can get a Bone Picker down. And if they don't, yeah. So we'll sack Shambling Ghast and then play Bone Picker, which could trade with the Aberration if I want, or maybe just I go offensive here. I probably don't trade because they could have a snake, and this trades with those because it's got Death Touch. Usually we don't care too much about snakes, but we don't really have the best ways to fight them right now. All right, Sage is good because it could chump, it can grow this, etc. I think because we can chump the Serpent, well, I could attack with a Bone Picker, but then we're not really winning the race at the moment. We might eventually... Yeah, I think I should attack, because I can chump this. If I take 3 from the Aberration, we're a little behind that race, but then the Carrion Feeder starts getting in, which can quickly make up for it. Oh, they don't attack with the Serpent for that reason. All right, taking 3. And another Serpent. Shambler. All right. I think Bone Picker's got to stay back now. Mental Note. Island Delver. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we know that Spell Pierce was their last card at that time. They might swing with everything now. Yeah. I could trade this here. I have 2 more turns with this. That's probably worth it. Although these guys I can chump. This guy I can chump a little bit, though. Maybe we do this. Here's the deck list. I've been messing around with chat stuff, and I think I probably broke that command, unfortunately. All right. Marauders, fine. We'll see what they want to sacrifice. I kind of want to keep this alive in case I get, like, a stamina to make him sack another thing. But, yeah. Command did work. That's good at least. Oh, the command did work. It's just, I wasn't seeing it in OBS because I have a different, because of what I've been working on. But yes, I'm glad it worked. I'm attacking here because if they block, I can sacrifice 3 things. That's pretty decent to kill their terror. They don't block, so we're dead to this Aberration in 2 or 3 turns. I could block with an insect, so... Question is if I want to sack something else, but I think we'll just let it go. As long as they don't get a Sleep of the Dead, which I'm expecting they'll get, or a Demon Inferior, like we're not in a terrible spot. Yeah, I'm going to chump with the insect before they're able to find a way to get rid of it. So that buys me another turn in the air and grows the feeder. They have a Mystic. Okay, Mystic could be problematic. Unearth. Unearth is good. They could Spell Pierce it just to make a bird, which is a little annoying. I could pay for it, but we can bring back a Sage or a Marauder here, or a Shambler. Probably Sage. I mean, Marauder eats probably the Terror. Yeah, but that's not really doing much. I'd rather have the Sage, which can block the Aberration for a turn. They are going to Spell Pierce it to make a bird. I'll pay. Swing with the feeder. Chump with the bird. All right, we need him to draw poorly. If they do, like if they draw an island here, we might be okay. Mental Note is not great. Makes a bird. It finds a Sleep of the Dead, and it draws him a card. Well, that's going to make us lose the game, I think. The Sleep just keeps this tapped. We lose our pressure. They make another bird. Just about dead right there, honestly. If I take this, then I'm dead to birds next turn. If I sacrifice this, chump, I'm still dead to the flyers next turn. I guess I have more options by not doing it yet then. Sleep on the Carrion Feeder, another Delver. Snuff out, which I can no longer cast. Bit unfortunate. All right. I'm noticing the chat is disappearing from the screen after like a minute of inactivity or something, and I don't want that. So, all right. I'm so bad at figuring this stuff out while I'm actually live because I'm very not tuned to do tech stuff. So we'll just deal with it for this stream, and as always, I'll try to make it better for the next one. What's the secret tech? We are doing land destruction in the main deck, and we have Thorn of the Black Rose in the sideboard, which we're doing a swap to. All right, Shambler's a good draw. Looks like we are against Grixis Affinity, which is tough. Cryogen, Carrion Feeder, okay. I was going to Stamina and then Village Rites this, but Carrion Feeder is even better, because then I have something growing alongside this, and it makes me have a free way to sacrifice things next turn if I play a bunch of beetles. If they don't get Clan Shaman, we have a very fast clock here. But if they do, it'll be difficult to deal with, as always. I should get Shambling Ghast down ASAP, though, so that if they get it, I can prevent Death Touch. Ooh, they got nothing. Another Shambling Ghast. Well, let's play a Beetle. Obviously, I'd love double Beetle, but we just need the insurance of pinging off the Krark before it gets Death Touch here. I assume they're just going to take a big hit and then go for a Reckoner's Bargain on the Cryogen. Maybe they sack Cryogen to keep the feeder tapped. That's fine, too. They're just going to pass, do nothing? That's shocking to me. I guess they didn't want to lose their affinity count. Maybe they have a bunch of Mirror Enforcers they can cast. There's an Enforcer. Just one, though. Dark Ritual. All right, let's play Beetle and another Ghast. All right. We won the game against them. Very nice. Dark Ritual and Mono Black Sacrifice, that's outrageous. I agree. Not generally my biggest, not generally a card I'm the biggest fan of, but with the Ponza/Monarch plan, it makes sense, I think. Question is, do we actually want to switch to the Monarch plan? It's not the best against Affinity, nor is land destruction. I mean, Snuff Outs for Krark and Tragic Slips are probably worth it. So, also Bone Picker is a card that's supposed to be better in this match because, of course, it dodges Krarkland Shaman. Just a bigger flyer. Does trade with Refurb, which I don't love, but yeah, so we could just cut land destruction entirely. Of course, it's good if we do hit non-bridges, but I think we want to bring in all these removal spells, so let's just do this. The land destruction and Monarch plans are both probably best suited against like Gardens or Pestilence or something like that, so I would love to get one of those matches. I think we keep this. We need another land, and we don't have interaction for the Krark, so we could just lose to that. But if we draw another land and then dodge the removal, it's just really aggressive. Start with a Sage so we can go for Village Rites immediately. They have a Blood Fountain, Bone Picker. All right, really hoping we get a Swamp here. Draw 2, and we do not. Get rid of a Beetle, I guess. Enforcer. Okay, still no land. I think I just play a Sage and Chump, and we keep trying to go in the air, I guess. Ezerban subscribed with Prime. Thanks so much for that. I appreciate it. Hope the Hedron serves you well. They have a Monitor. Makes things a little worse. I could attack with 2 insects and then get a Bone Picker down. Trying to figure out if there's any way we can survive this. They don't have the best start ever. I think we go with a Carrion Feeder. Pass the turn. Swing with the team. I think we got to stave off some damage here. Try to grow the feeder. They're going to Breath Weapon. That's pretty annoying. I was like, if they have a Galvanic Blast, it kind of gets us regardless, so not that big of a deal. Breath Weapon would not have. Discard a bridge, and we don't get a Swamp. I just don't think we can get there playing one card at a time here. We have only 16 lands, but we also have the 3 Dark Rituals, so we really had 18 sources that we could have found. I think it was a fine keep, but obviously it did not work out. This is good if we had a piece of fodder. Do I keep it hoping to draw one? Probably not. This is kind of a lot of mana anyway, so it's already a pretty rough hand because of that. You know, I could keep this, and if once they play a creature, I get to snuff it out, and then we get to double Bone Picker. We're on 6. I think we're going to do that and hope for the best. Like, if we're lucky, they play a turn 2 Monitor or like a Krarkland Shaman right away, which is not going to happen. Or I guess we're just going to hard cast these because we're drawing so many lands. Spell Bomb. Yeah, I was afraid of the Refurb, which is both not a black, or rather is a black creature, and also blocks the Bone Pickers really nicely. So that's really annoying. Thought Cast. Play a Monitor. Attack for 2. Just play a Monitor. Come on, dude. They always have it when you don't want them to. Okay, here's a Beetle. Play a Mirror Enforcer then. No attacks, no plays. I mean, I guess I attack. They probably go for a trade, and then I just triple Bone Picker. And if they have a Breath Weapon, we're toast. But I don't think I can afford to like hedge and not play, only play 1 or 2. We need them to just not have a Breath Weapon, and we can kill them in like 3 turns. I will be conceding the moment they cast Breath Weapon here, though. All right, good game. All right, round 3 here. We have a very fast start. Because of this Dark Ritual, we can immediately Carrion Feeder, Sage, sack the Sage, and play a Bone Picker. Although if I do that, I don't actually have a great target for my stamina. So is that what I want to do? I could also play a second Feeder and sack it right away. It's less damage, better in the long run. But if they then kill a Feeder, I kind of want to have another one. I think we go for this. I could also just do this Supernatural Stamina on the Sage immediately, but this is 6 damage on turn 1 on the play. I feel like this has got to just be the right call. Like, just crazy speed here. And we're just going to pass. If they go for a Bolt, we have a Village Rites or a Stamina or something. Yeah, they have a Grab the Prize with a Snacker, and it's not going to be fast enough. Look at this. I guess if I Village Rites this insect, I lose some damage, but I think it's worth it to get this stuff. Really wanted to land for that Shambler here, but we'll play the Shambler anyway. Hit for 5. They have a Scrapwork Mutt. Oh, okay. It's like Mono Red Dredge or something. Discard a Fire Blast. There's a Swamp. Let's get a Beetle down. Swing with the team. And block. I mean, this could be kind of bad if they have like a Bolt or a Dart for the Shambler. It's not that bad, but it's still not great if they can kill it. Yeah. So we'll sack this. Still grow our guys. Make sure the Beetle doesn't die to a Dart, which is nice. We do trade our Bone Picker for a Snacker. They got a Gutter Snipe. Okay, we can force them to chump by just playing our guys. Should have played the Sage first, technically, but it's okay. Because either these two together could definitely be lethal, so they have to chump, and then they don't have a Gutter Snipe. Okay. This is another one where we probably don't go for Land Destruction or Monarch. Probably cut all of that, and we just go for Kill Spells, Lifelink, Rotten Reunion. Let's give that a try. All right, this hand's decent. Start with a Sage. Get Bone Picker, Carrion Feeder down next turn if I want. They have a Robbery with a Snacker. So I could get those both down. Bone Picker's so much worse against Snacker. I think I just do Carrion Feeder with a Sage, though. So it survives the first bolt. Then if they have another bolt, I could just unearth it. Swing with the Snacker. Faithless Looting. Fiery Temper. On the Feeder. I guess I could just let it go and then unearth. I think that might actually be better. Let's do that. More chances to have more guys and keep our Feeder alive. Get it back here. Swing for 2. And now sacrifice Link Breaker for a Bone Picker. Pass the turn. Bolts the Bone Picker. That's fine. Seeing as Snacker is going to get to trade for it anyway, I'm not really too upset about that. There's a Scrapwork Mutt. Discard a Mountain. I mean, I guess it's just Mono Red Madness with Scrapwork Mutt. And they concede. Okay, well, we were in a decent spot, and I guess maybe they just have all lands in hand, but we got that match. All right, we have the Dark Ritual, but no lands, unfortunately. Real quick, I think I figured out this going blank on the chat, so I'm going to refresh it, and then ideally it will not do that anymore. This one is for a 6-card hand. Fine. I think it's good enough, seeing as going to 5 is just so bad in this deck, and this is a keepable hand, even if it's not very good. Ooh, now we're against Rally, which is not usually as bad a matchup. we get Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual into these creatures doesn't really do much. So do I want a Dark Ritual into Icequake? Probably. They didn't have a great Furnace, so like I'd prefer to blow that up, but obviously they're just not going to have it. So let's take out their Mountain, and maybe they get stuck on 1 land now. That'd be nice. Ooh, Bushwhacker not kicked because they're worried about more lands getting blown up. That's sick. Tomb Raider. Unearth. All right, so I could Carrion Feeder and Shambler, and if they bolt the Feeder, I can just unearth it. It's not my favorite thing ever, but we do need to put some stuff on the board here, so let's do that. They got another Mountain, unfortunately, and they got a Burning Tree Emissary into a Chain Lightning on the Feeder. Yep, it's gone. I think I need to trade here. The upside would be to get a Stamina, and then I can unearth the Carrion Feeder, like if I don't block, but what are the chances? Ooh, unearth. Well, I guess we're just going to unearth both of these. Yeah, I think so. Pass the turn here. Reckless Impulse. Double land. They needed that after we blew up their land. I mean, honestly, that Furnace wasn't bad. Double Tomb Raider's annoying. No attacks? That's got to be a mistake, right? I'm not in a good spot for them to not... I mean, like, I don't know. I'm so shocked. If they want to not attack, I think that's great for me. Reckless Impulse again. Bushwhacker. Well, that's annoying. I guess we trade Chump. Honestly, I think I maybe shouldn't jump with the Shambler. I think our only way to really get back into this is to have drawn a Stamina. Whereas now I just really don't have a way to stabilize here. That's not going to be it, for sure. All right. It's maybe a little premature to concede, but I just don't see a way where we draw enough to, like, stop them. Maybe we get, like, Village Rites into a Beetle plus a fodder creature, then we can block. But, like, Carrion Feeder can't block, so I don't see how we're getting there. We did cut all of our board wipes from the sideboard for removal, single target removal, which could be bad here. Land Destruction's not it. We're getting all the matches, of course, where Land Destruction is not where we want to be. We also don't want to have Thorns or Snuff Outs, so I guess I'll bring in a Marauder, but that's okay. Let's see. This one's decent enough. Start with a Ghast, pass the turn. They have a Percussionist, which I will not be blocking. Carrion Feeder. Oh, perfect. It's exactly what we wanted. Mostly so I can get a Bone Picker down. I mean, I might want to pick this off, or I could hold up a Treasure. I guess we'll take care of this. Maybe they get a spell and they don't get to rally or something like they want to. No, they just go for a Mountain. Well, here's a Bone Picker. Both of these can be bolted. Another match where Bone Picker's worse. This is kind of why I'm not that big of a fan of Bone Picker. Two of the most powerful creatures in the format are 2/1 flyers, and then it just doesn't block great, but it's okay. Bolt on the feeder. It's gone. And a Bushwhacker as a 1/1. Sage. Do I just Accursed Marauder the Sage? Trade for the Bushwhacker? That seems not very good. Let's just hold up stamina. I wonder if anyone has tried a list where Bone Picker is replaced with Bloodthorn Vampire. Interesting idea. Which 2/1 flyers? Refurb, and it's hard to remember. I feel like it has something to do with snacking sneakily. That would be crazy, yeah. Stop talking crazy now. Burning Tree Emissary, and they had hit the rally off the top. I mean, I get to stamina the Sage to trade with the Emissary here. I was going to do that with a Soldier anyway, so it's not the worst thing. A flyer that comes in tapped. Yeah, I know, it seems so bad since it enters tapped. Not really sure why people are playing it, but they are. Swamp. Guess we're going to try to race. And I'm going to play a Marauder to trade our Sage for their Bushwhacker. Amazing. Literally unplayable, basically. Reckless Impulse. They get a Bushwhacker. That's fine. I got blockers. I no longer have blockers. And they can Bushwhacker next turn. Epicure. And it's 2 colors? Oh, yeah. We're not really a multicolor format, so as you can see, a couple monocolor decks going against each other. We were doing fine until the end of the festivities, and now Bushwhacker just, kills us. Well, I'm only excited by 3 color decks. That is where it's at, isn't it? Percussionist. Bushwhacker. Well, I guess we'll trade and go to 4 and draw a Dark Ritual. See, I always knew these cards were trash. Dark Ritual, Bone Picker. What are they doing for you, really? Nothing. They're giving you nothing. All right, last round here. Sure, we'll keep. We don't have the speed for the land destruction early, but we are on the play, and 2 land destruction spells in a row is a lot more than 1. In fact, it's 1 more than 1. So we'll see. Black Stack pretty strong at my locals. I think they've gone 8-0, maybe more. Running the entropy list, very nice. I recently I took Black Sack to a couple of my locals recently and did very well with it. Of course, we're against a indestructible land deck. If it's Jund, they'll surely have some lands we can blow up. If it's more affinity, maybe not for a little while. Well, it's affinity, but we do get to blow up that furnace, which is nice. I wish I had this Carrion Feeder earlier, but we're definitely just going to blow this up while we can. I guess I technically could have played Carrion Feeder. This might have been better. Sack the Ghast, make a treasure, blow up their land. Then I'd have 2 2/2s attacking next turn. I would be losing my Ghast, which could be a way to kill their flyers. Not flyers, their Kirkland Shaman, but could be worth it. Well, I think we're doing what we got to do. Picking this guy off, drawing 2, getting a counter, and I guess playing double feeder. Piece of fodder would have been much better there. Swing for 2. These Icequakes not looking amazing, but if they play a 3rd land that can be blown up, I guess it's not terrible. There's a Furnace. No blue mana. There's a Krark. I'm just going to preemptively sack a Carrion Feeder to grow the other ones because it's better this way. Better for these to not be 1/1s when they go to sacrifice something. But they have the Death Touch. Doesn't matter anyway. Sack them to itself so that they don't gain the lifelink, but we'll show them who's boss. Blowing up their land. That's the important thing. They have a Wellspring. We get a Beetle. I guess we'll get back a feeder, play a Beetle, even though we have no way to grow them, really. Monitor. What's up, Marsh? How's it going? Doing all right. How are you doing, Russ? They got a Wellspring and all indestructible lands and an Enforcer. Sad. And we get a Swamp. All right, we're dead. I mean, already our worst matchup, and then our spicy tech is bad in this matchup. Love the new layout. Thank you. I appreciate that. I spent a lot of time on it. And definitely still some things that need to get updated, but I think it looks pretty decent. Went from completely electric to entirely bodied at Common Ground Cup 4, but we chillin'. Yeah. What do you take there? Your Dimir Fairies? Tempo Dimir Fairies pilot, right? That's what you took at the SCG Con. Is that what you're still on? This one's okay. That's me. 3-1 to 3-3. Brutal. That is unfortunate. I think I'm going to get a Carrion Feeder down. They could just play Great Furnace and Galv Blast it, but usually they only play like 2 or 3 Great Furnaces, so the chances are low. I'd rather get the damage in quickly. And also if I play a Link Breaker, then next turn get a Feeder anyway, it still dies to a Galvanic Blast. So anyway. I did see at the Common Ground Cup that Dimir Fairies made it to the finals, which was sick, and then had a pretty unfortunate final match, dying in like 10 minutes, both games total. to Mono Red Madness, which it sounds about right. Mono Red Madness is not the worst matchup for it, I think, but it's not obviously the best either. They play a Wellspring. Okay, nice slow start. Always like that. Swing. I think we're just gonna add an extra damage, get our flyer going, make sure that there's no ability for them to like respond to our trigger on the stack and get us. The testing for the new Fortune Teller tech has done the impossible. It got me excited to see new control gameplay. Interesting. That's sick. I'm glad it could interest you enough. It was a lot of fun though. Got to play it in a Win-A-Box side event. Tried playing White Weenie for the first time in it. Nice. How do you like White Weenie? I'm a big fan of that deck, obviously. How's it going, Hyper Geomancer? Nice to see you here. First time watching live or being notified. What's the weird sack tech? Unfortunately, we can't really use it because we're against Affinity, but we're trying out Land Destruction in the main deck into a Thorn of the Black Rose pivot with a bunch of Dark Rituals to make the mana work. But yeah, we've gotten paired against all of our worst matchups pretty quickly, so makes it tougher to do here. Math Goat has arrived. Indeed. Hyper Geomancer makes some incredible Pauper math-related videos to figure out the best way to do certain things. Recently had a great video about the mana base for Grixis Affinity. Highly suggest people check it out. So Tragic Slip the Refurb here so I can get in. They might decide if they want to like sack it to Krark in response. Frankly, I think we attack, then just kill the Krark post-combat. It's a classic. For example, if you dare to pre-side a card against red, you will not face a single red deck. Exactly the case. So I'm going to do this now. I do have Snuff out, so I can already interrupt a Death Touch being granted by Toxin Analysis, but they could also just put like 4 more artifacts on the field, and then it could still wipe the board. So I'd rather just do it now. If they want, they could sack 4 artifacts, but that's not going to actually kill everything, because the feeder can grow with the insects, and then obviously they'd just lose the game because they'd have no lands on the field. They're going to sack the Wellspring to draw a card. It does kill the Mercenary, but of course I can sacrifice it here. And by sacking the Wellspring, they draw a card, but they also lose affinity count, so that's good for us. There's a Kenku Artificer. Okay. After I already used my 2 Tragic Slips, that's annoying. I guess you used 1 and discarded another, but still. Based bird tech, though. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I just don't like that it might actually stop us here. Really cool layout indeed. Very clean. Good. That was the goal. Glad people are liking it. So yeah, they can block the feeder and not take any of the damage, not lose their guy, but they do take damage from the insects, so I'll just let that go. Or they could have blocked with the Artificer on the feeder. The reason they wouldn't, I assume, is they have maybe a Reckoner's Bargain for the Artificer. And it says you're excited for next year for Pauper, Marsh. I mean, it's always hard to know what's going to be cool for Pauper, because obviously like a set could or could not have any good commons. I do think all 3 of the Universes Within sets look pretty cool. I can't say I grew up with like Godzilla or anything, but I think having the Godzilla set and then mashing it with futuristic Japan is pretty cool. So I'm sure that set will be sweet. An Atlantis type plane sounds awesome, and then Zalfir is a cool plane that we kind of know about, or not plane, it's part of Dominaria, I believe, but still a cool thing to explore more of. I know a lot of people have been saying this, but for this year, I mean, Reality Fracture could be really cool for Pauper, depending on how much like color bending they do. If we see a lot of stuff kind of like Time Spiral, where we get like, I'm sure they're going to try not to break the color pie, but if they do a lot of bends, or you get some things that are very unique in colors that you don't usually get, I think that could be cool. I'm trying to figure out what to do here. I think we just attack with everything. They could definitely have like Breath Weapon or something. Just want them to give me good Pauper, Merfolk, and Noctis. Yeah, I do think we'll probably get some Merfolk, some more payoffs and stuff like that. Ideally, good enough for Pauper, and probably also cards that care about all the various sea creatures, Leviathans, Krakens, stuff like that. So that could be sweet. Downshift Lord of Atlantis. Well, that might be a little far. All right, they block the Beetle. We'll sack that to the feeder. They're gonna bargain the Artificer, I assume. Indeed. We get to play Bone Picker. Downshift Curse Catcher. I could see that one being downshifted for sure. There's definitely a lot of uncommon merfolk that were printed 15 years ago that could definitely, in the power level we have now, be downshifted. So it'd be cool to see some of those. Can't wait for them to announce the Dust to Dust sequel set. All Dust to Dust. Yeah, the Eldrazi All Is Dust to Dust set. That'd be sick. All right, they're going to block here and then have a bargain for this to go to 2, I assume. They might also just have like a Galvanic Blast for this. That'd be fine. Let's swing with the team. Watch them make a black, discard 1, draw 2 in Reality Shift. Snacker would take over. Yeah, Snacker, a card that's not taken over yet, would definitely go pretty far. yeah, if we got something like that, I think Snacker's already so close to getting banned, if not gonna get banned, that if we did get another one of those in another color, I guess black, mono white, or green, black is the one that would actually maybe be able to afford it. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, no, it's not annoying. Well, okay. So I can sack Carrion Feeder to itself or to this Village Rights in order to make sure they don't gain lifelink, and then I win the game. Unless they have a Galvanic Blast with the bridge, in which case I've sacked the feeder and then they kill the Bone Picker and then I probably lose. I think it's worth it though. If they don't have a Galvanic Blast exactly, like we win the game. So we're going to do this, because then we're hitting for 5, and they no longer are gaining lifelink. Well, for a creature dealing damage, that is. Yep, there's the Galvanic Blast. I think we're just going to lose now, because this can just offset the damage we deal, and we've already, like I said earlier, gone through our Tragic Slips. That's really annoying. As far as color-shifted cards, we were also talking in the Black Sack Discord about what could make Black Sack better, and a color-shifted fling, so we actually had an instant speed fling in mono black, would be a big increase for the deck. So that'd be cool. What is the overall impression among players after giving the ideas some time to settle of Teller compared to Augur Bolas? Generally like the attempt idea, but I'm afraid 2 more mana each time is a bit too many for competitive play. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a full conclusion. But I think I was expecting it to, like, I was open to the idea, but I thought it was probably going to just feel mostly worse. And I don't think it was super obviously worse. I do think it's worth testing more, but I can imagine that, like, as people play more games with it and I play more games with it, they have another one, of course. We'll start to feel the fact that we don't have cards in our hand as much until we've cracked the clue. We can't get past these, unfortunately. So, I don't know. Definitely worth more testing. Lose 2 life to make it balanced. Perfect. High Flat of Marshes. What's going on? Downshifted Skull Clamp would make it tier 1. Yeah, Downshifted Skull Clamp would be pretty busted, I think. Yeah, and the other thing about the Fortune Teller is I kept Brainstorm in the deck because Brainstorm is a very good card. But without the Augurs, it's harder to clear the top. So maybe Brainstorm should become Preordains or something, or Ponders, but Ponder's another one you want to clear the top sometimes. But of course, Brainstorm is just such a powerful card. So if we're losing Brainstorm from the deck, I would say that's probably not worth swapping from Augurs, but you never know. Fortunately, it's already been confirmed that there are no color pie breaks. Interesting. I mean, I haven't heard that specifically, but like, again, a break is different from a bend. So there could be bends where it's like, oh, we've never seen this. Like, again, a mono black fling would not be a color pie break, because like we've seen that effect before. Black can definitely do damage, direct damage at instant speed to players, and it sacrifices creatures, of course, but it's still kind of a bend because it's like, well, we don't usually do that exactly. But had the same vibes, more controlling oriented gameplay, always 2 mana up, crack UT a lot. Looking to bend, not break. That, I think, is the way to do it. Obviously, breaks are cooler for Eternal formats, but then it's just like, what's the point of the color pie in general? Bends, I think, are also a lot more clever most of the time. Anyway, well, we got a 1/4, which is not great, obviously. We didn't really get to show off the tech too much. We did get to blow up some lands, even immediately in that first match. But we also just got a lot of matchups where it was just not good to be blowing up lands. 2 Affinities, which is already our worst matchup. They have indestructible lands, and we need to be doing something much more proactive. 2 different mono reds where they don't need that many lands, and they're also very aggressive. And then a Terror where definitely a standard Black Sack list would have just been a lot better. So I wouldn't say this was a great success with the trials, but also we went up against a lot of the matches we weren't trying to. Naya Gates is extremely prevalent right now, as is various versions of Tron. Those are obviously the ones we would want to be going up against primarily, but even just some control deck like Dimir Fairies or Golgari Gardens, Food Pestilence, anything like that would have been the targeted decks. So even Jund would have been much better than Grixis. So not necessarily a total failure. The Thorn actually felt really good, the one match where we did bring that in, but not necessarily the best showing of it either. But in any case, if you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.